You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to this wonderful time again on our lesson GST 104, the use of libraries. We are talking about the lesson number 2, the second topic, which is information sources. My name is Grace Elem, your facilitator on this course. This course is designed to get you acquainted with the resources. Yeah, Vera, I can see your hand up. You are welcome. This course is designed to get you acquainted with sources of information available at your disposal. Jude, you are welcome. What are the sources available at your disposal as a student and as a researcher? We'll be talking about the sources. What are information? Who and who need information? What can you do with information? And at the end of this lesson, you are expected to know what information are, the types of sources of information, and the information that are available for you. You are welcome. Permit me to share my screen. Hello. Okay, please permit me to share my screen. Okay, like we said, and as we have been discussing before, information is important to everybody. Everyone needs information. We need information in our daily activities. We need information to carry on our activity on daily basis. So information is very important, and information is a wide expression. Nobody can, it is difficult to define information in a single language. So many people define information the way they understand it. And what we are saying here is that this information we are talking about is message delivered or message received. The three main sources of information, like we know, we start counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, are the primary sources, the secondary sources, the tertiary sources. Like one student starts reading from primary, you go to secondary, you go to tertiary. These are also the way information are packaged. There are sources of information that are known as the primary source, and there are also sources of information that are the secondary, and some are tertiary, depending on their packages, depending on what they have been packaged or what they have been seen, or what information needs they treat, the information needs they supply, the information needs they satisfy. Apart from the three main sources of information, there are still other sources of information that we can get around, but these are the three main sources of information. That if an information is not primary, it could be secondary, it could also be tertiary. Now, when we begin to talk about these information sources, when we begin to talk about the tertiary, the secondary, and the primary sources, what are primary sources of information? As we all know that the primary sources of information, these are information that are still in their original copies, the information that are still in their original type, the information that has not been tampered with, the information that are produced and are still in their original form. They have not been processed. They have just been found. What are these type of information? We have the bibliographies, we have the indexes, we have the encyclopedia. The information that are contained in these are tertiary. And then the information that are contained in the primary sources are those ones that we are the information that we invent, the information that we bring out, such as your letter writing. When somebody writes a letter, it is in its original form. It has not been processed. So it is a primary source of information because the information is derived, the information is produced, the information is set by the owner, by the producer, by the writer. When you write your diary, what and what are contained in your diary? They are the original things that happened to you, the information you want to preserve, the information you want to keep. These are the information that are contained in your diary, the information that is found in your research work. They are still in their original forms. The information that is contained in annual report are still in their original form. Even when you produce a video, even when you produce speeches, even when you print them, they are still in the original copy. Information, as we said, it can be printed. It can be a verbal information, it can be a printed information, it can be information that is transmitted through electronics. This makes it necessary that everybody needs information. Everybody has a need for information. Apart from the primary sources of information, We have the secondary. Like I said, a child starts from primary school, he goes to secondary, he goes to tertiary institution. That is how we receive information. And some of this information that are in their secondary sources, they are created from the primary source of information. Now, having mentioned the primary source of information, we know we can create more information from the sources, from those ones that are still in their original form. Now, which means the secondary one has somehow been sieved, though it has not perfectly been sieved, it has not completely been sieved, but to some extent, to great extent, these informations in the secondary data, they have been processed. They include the information that we have in the textbook, the information that we have in commentaries, the information that are contained in dictionaries, the information that are contained in biographies. These are informations that we term as secondary information. And this secondary information, when we consult them, when we look at them, we look at these different types of information based on the information need on ground. Apart from the secondary information, apart from the secondary source of information, we also have the tertiary. Like I said, we count primary, secondary, tertiary. Now we are in the tertiary form of this information. What are the tertiary information? This tertiary information, when somebody has passed primary, passed secondary, and entered tertiary, you know the information has gone to a higher extent. So what we are saying in essence is that the tertiary sources of information are information that has been processed, the information that has been sieved. And this information in this tertiary, they are all from the primary, the secondary, and all of for, you may not have your information needs satisfied. You can only have your information needs satisfied when you consult the right kind of information. It is only when you consult the right kind of information that your information need will be satisfied. So at this juncture, we know that each source of information is sought, is consulted based on the information need of the student, based on your information need. And having said all this, having talked all this while, I want to ask you, how many of you has ever gone to the library to sort for information? Which kind of information were you looking for? Were you looking for the tertiary? Were you looking for the secondary or the primary? Whichever kind of information you are looking for depends on your information need. And your information need determines the kind of information you search for. For instance, if you are to write an exam and you have need to read textbooks, what do? You go to the library, you know you are looking for the secondary source of information. You don't have need to go and look for somebody's diary and be reading. You don't have need to go and be reading somebody's letter. You don't have the need to go and consult somebody's work of art. No. What you need is secondary source of information. And when you enter the library, you go straight where you can find the textbooks and you connect, you collect, you read. As you make use of the reading room, as you make use of the library, having knowledge of sources of information will help you It will help you not to waste much time when you enter the library. When you have the source of information at the back of your mind that you are looking for, when you enter the library, you will go straight. You will go straight to the place you will locate that source of information you are looking for. And then what happens? Your time will be saved. You will have your time saved. You will not spend all the time going through the one shelf or the other, looking for the one information or the other. You check this one, you drop, you check the other one, you drop. But for the fact that you know that, yes, the source of information I'm looking for is found in the secondary, you will go where the secondary sources of information are found. And it will save your time and will also help you meet your information need. Having said this, I don't know if anybody has any question concerning what we have discussed today, the three main sources of information. The information needs of students are based on these three main sources of information. If your information is not primary, it's secondary. If your information need is not primary, it could be secondary, it could be tertiary, depending on the need, depending on what you want to use the information for. We also learned that information is very important and everybody needs information, and we need information in every of our day-to-day activity. I don't know if anyone has any question concerning what we have discussed so far. Now, at the summary of this lesson, we are also made to understand that all the researchers, the students, information seekers, they have all these resources, they have these information sources at their disposal. You are encouraged to make use of these sources depending on your information need. And if you rightly choose your source of information, it will help you, it will make your work easy, and it will go a long way to help you manage your time. I am sure we have at least been able to learn these sources of information, and in the forthcoming, we will be able to identify them, we will be able to give examples of each of these sources of information. I'll see you next week on our next topic on library services. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, our facilitator.
Thank you for this wonderful lesson today. We have learned a lot. We are hoping to join the next class.
You're welcome.